And we're recording because we have like 2 people live and like 20 other people signed up. So it is a pretty nice day out today. I don't blame them for enjoying the weather. And we're going to dive deep into From Broken to Blissful. And welcome everyone who is live. So I'd love for you guys to put in the chat where you're from. I think I know that Kelly's from Moncton. But Melanie, if you want to let us know where you're from the world. Miramichi, very cool. And if you're watching the replay, you can feel free to put that in the comments too. I love seeing where everyone's from. And I'm Laura McPhee. I'm a joyful goddess, speaker, healer, and coach, and I love empowering women through self-love and self-care and sexual empowerment so that they can live their dream life now, that you don't have to put it off until next year or until you get a better promotion or until you have kids or you're married or until you're retired. That you don't have to keep putting that off. You can clear and release those limiting beliefs that are making you think that you're not good enough or pretty enough or smart enough or whatever enough to do it right now. So you guys can live your dream lives right now and not put it off into the future indefinitely. And I am super passionate about this because I did it for myself. I was like stressed out in corporate and I didn't want that life, and I switched it so that I'm living a laptop lifestyle and traveling when I want and getting to enjoy the life that I want with the bliss that I've desired and co-creating that with my higher power. So I'd like you guys to take a moment and reflect on why you're here, why this resonated with you, if you're feeling broken in some way. For me personally, that broken feeling was I thought that my body was broken. I had been on the personal development journey for several years, and I was at Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within event. That's when we like walk on fire. And I was like totally on board when he's like, you're not broken. He's like, it's your stories, it's your limiting beliefs. And I totally got that. I was fully on board with that. But then I felt really broken as a woman because I wasn't able to get wet. I wasn't orgasming with myself or with a partner. And I just felt like there was something deeply wrong with me, and that it probably stemmed from being molested as a child. And I had never wanted anyone else to know about it. I had like brought it up to one person and they were essentially like, no one's going to believe you. It's your word against theirs. Just like forget about it and stay inside from now on, because inside's safe, the outside world's not safe. So that wasn't really the healthiest information that I got to like support myself through that journey. But then that continued to show up in my life where I felt like I was broken sexually because I waited until I was like 18 to have sex. And I felt like I was super behind compared to other people. The first guy that I had sex with, it was ridiculously painful. And then afterwards, he told me that I wasn't as good as other people who had had sex for like years. So I'm like, at the time, that was super hurtful and devastating. And now I'm like, no doubt someone's first time isn't going to be as good as someone's like 1,000th time. But at the time, it was so devastating, and I continued to have asshole experiences and unhealthy sexual relationships. And I just felt like that's kind of what it was. I was codependent because I had seen my parents be codependent. There was a lot of things where I just felt and thought that I was broken because of all these things that happened in the past, and there was nothing I could do about it. And it was really unfortunate because there wasn't a clear path. There wasn't anyone being like, this has happened to me. This is how you go from here to here, like I'm doing with you guys tonight. And any part of my story, there could be little or big similarities or contrasts. So it's just these little baby steps and tidbits I can give you to support you, because I wish that there would have been anyone being like, this is what happened to me, this is how you can go through it. Because I felt I was broken and alone. And the more I'd kind of be okay bringing that up in healing sessions, recognizing it would be like triggered in my current relationship or triggered in my outside reality, and that those were like the root causes that need to be healed, the more that those would pop up, I'd feel so alone, because the healers or coaches or people I'd be working with didn't have those experiences, or they were always wet and had no problem and like didn't understand why I needed tons and tons of lube, or else sex would just hurt really, really bad and I'd be really sensitive from it. Like it was extremely isolating to me because no one was really relating to me on that, like, I've been there, I've done that, like it fucking sucks, it's painful and it's frustrating and it wasn't your fault and you're not alone. And I would have killed to have someone say that. So that's why I felt really, really strongly called to start doing this work publicly this year. Like 2019, after I did Date with Destiny last year, I'm like, it's my destiny. Like I'm here to empower women and really support the divine feminine and rising and help with my journey. Like I suffered through unique hells to get to this place so that I could help women who are my soul sisters move forward on their journey. So tonight I'm going to give you guys this beautiful roadmap so that you guys can take whatever next best step that's resonating with you, and you can like go heal yourself and support your life with it. And you can take these tools and these exercises and things that I'm going to share and run with it with whatever your favorite modality is. Like, I'll share with you some of the modalities I do. But if you're like, I love tapping, tapping isn't one of the like modalities I offer, and you're like, I want to do this work, but I want to do it with tapping, and you have a new seed from tonight that you're able to like go off and do something else with, I'd be ridiculously excited about, because I just want this message to get that out there, that women can heal themselves and no one has to feel broken. And I feel like a society filled with lit up, sexually empowered, in our personal power, healed with our past, and showing up from healed, healthy, loving spaces, women are going to completely change the world. Like, we're such an untapped resource right now. Like, we're playing small and our shine's been dulled, and the patriarchal society has really reinforced ways that women aren't good, or we're weaker, or we're broken in some way. And the more as women we can heal that and show up in loving spaces as leaders, and as leaders in our lives, just being that change that we want to see in the world, I really feel like the world's going to completely change, especially since we're the mothers of the world. There isn't a human being brought into this world without coming through a woman. So if every woman decided to love herself, decided to do this work, unconditionally love herself and do self-care and show up from a healed space and embody that as a leader, as an example in her family and her relationship and her community, that would change the world in an entire generation, just one generation, because the children would see that. They'd see that example of unconditional love and equality and support. And I really feel like that would change the entire world. So I'm doing this part because I'm super called to it. This is my passion and what I'm here to do in this world. So I'm here to support you guys in any way. And are you ashamed of yourself in any way? Is there fear or secrets in your past that you're like, oh my God, I don't want anyone to know? Or like you've only secretly whispered to a couple friends or healers? Because so many women, especially like with more of the Me Too movement coming and Time's Up, women are sharing our stories around sexual harassment or rape or trauma or abuse or molestation or fill in the blank trauma that we've suffered throughout our lives, that created a division. It created a separation with ourselves energetically when it happened. It created a trauma, and then we've reverberated out those wounds throughout our lives, and we get triggered or angry or frustrated or like react in certain ways that we wouldn't ideally want to, because those things need to get healed. And do you have a negative relationship with yourself? Do you have a negative relationship with your partner? And I would have a resounding yes to these ones as well, the old version of myself, because I didn't love myself. I thought that I was ugly, and I'd look at myself in the mirror and find a million and two things wrong with me because I was bullied from a young age. And I thought that I was separate, and that being smart made me a loner and completely separate from everyone else. And that I had to choose one thing or the other, and the choice was kind of made for me. And I just got separated and bullied and isolated and had stuff thrown at me, and again repeated the cycle of like, outside world isn't safe, and stayed inside and would just focus on homework and support any adult I could, and like helping them with their work. And I was this teacher's pet because I felt really unsafe, and I felt like there was something deeply wrong with me because of that. I didn't understand at a young age why I was so desperate and separate from everyone else. And I completely attributed it to the things that they'd say, that I have frizzy hair or curly hair or glasses or pimples or looked weird or ugly or I wasn't good enough. And I never had boyfriends throughout high school or middle school. Like, I felt like there was something really wrong with me as a human being. And that kind of just reverberated throughout life. And then that showed up in partnerships where I was super codependent, and I became extremely needy and clingy because I would completely change who I was, my values and my likes and my dislikes for the crush that I had. And like, starting in middle school, if he liked WWE, I would like learn all John Cena stuff for my brothers and clear all of my likes and just devote myself to becoming what I thought someone else would love, because I felt really unlovable. And then that had traced back to my daddy issues of my dad never said that he loved me. So I felt completely rejected, because I remembered at a young age, I was loved as a baby. There's photo album upon photo album of me and my dad and him taking pictures of me. But there became a certain age where I don't really have a memory of, but I decided to have my own personality, and he didn't know how to react to that. He was unable to really handle his emotions, let alone other people's. And I went from being loved as a child to not in my memory. I don't have a memory of when this happened, but apparently one day he just kind of changed and it shifted. And as a human being, that we still have those like caveman survival brains, it became rejection and abandonment and unlovable and all kinds of trauma and healing that I had to do in terms of those areas as well. So I've had to do so much work on relationships and myself and loving the people around me and healing family traumas and those things. So I'm here to also support you guys in ways to do that as well tonight. And you have pain from the past that's ready to be healed. If you weren't ready, then there's a good chance that you wouldn't have been called to this call tonight or watching the replay of it. There's some part of you that your like inner being, your like inner knowing, your voice knows that there's something here for you to support you in healing so you can move forward and be freer and happier and blissful right now and not suffer through things that have happened in the past any longer. So tonight we're going to go over how to get from broken to blissful. And the number one step is loving ourselves, because when you can love yourself, that like creates this beautiful foundation and framework for you to have more time and energy to do all the other work. When you love yourself, you will cut out time in your day to do this work and to do the time to do self-care and to schedule in the healings. And that'll be more important than anything else that'll come up. It'll be just as important as a doctor's appointment that you waited a month to get. It'll be so important for you to fill up your cup and serve from an overflow and be really loving to yourself and to do this work so that you can live the life that you desire. And when we show up loving ourselves, we exponentially improve our relationships with everyone else in our life, because you can't give what you don't have. So if you're only loving yourself at like 40% right now, you're only loving your partner at 40%, your family, your friends, your children at 40%. You can't give what you don't have. So doing this work exponentially increases the amount of love you can give for yourself and to the other people in your life as well, which is so beautiful. Then we'll get into some of the exercises and ways you can heal your past. And then loving your partner or loving your relationships. All of these tools can be used on everyone else, but it tends to be the most like biggest pain point is if you have an unhealthy relationship or unhappy relationship with your partner. So focusing on that first, and then you can transfer those awesome skills out into the other relationships that you have with your friends and coworkers and other people in your life. We'll also do some healings to remove limiting beliefs. So by the end, you'll feel lighter and have steps that you can take right now to move you forward on your journey. So who's excited to have a blissful life? Woo! And put it in the chat. Yes, be like really excited. Raise your energy, because the universe is a mirror. The more excited you are, the more like high vibration energy that you meet anything in this world is going to be reflected back to you. So that's why if you're making a dream happy life list or anything that you're co-creating with the universe for, you want to be in a really joyful or self-care filled up state so that you have this mirrored back to you in a really supportive, ease and grace, loving way on your journey. Me, I'm ready. Woo! Yes, love it. I love the energy. And you're also in luck because there's only 2 of you on live, and there's an awesome prize. You get a full 1-hour one-on-one session with me if you want to tag this event. So the From Broken to Blissful event, and tag me in it. Be like, currently attending From Broken to Blissful, or like learning about bliss or something like that, whatever you want to do. So I'll give you guys a minute right now to tag me and yourself in that post on Facebook. And again, it's a 50-50 right now if you both do it. If neither of you do it, no one's gonna win. So you can just tag that event and then me, so I'll easily see it in my notifications after. And if anyone else pops on live, we'll give them a chance too. And then I'll pull your name at the end. For the 1-hour sessions, that can be a combination of Reiki or Theta or sound healing or coaching or whatever's coming up for you. I really like to intuitively blend my sessions so that it is for your guys' highest and best good. And that's just what's tended to work best, where it's like, this is your issue, this is your main pain point that you want to resolve, or this is how you want to close your gap between here and here. And then we kind of use whatever energy is coming up, supporting through your higher power, that's God, creator, source energy, the universe, to clear what's no longer serving you, to move you quicker towards that goal or put you in alignment for your highest and best good. My water is still leaking on me. That's not fun. Might need a new water bottle. And then at the end, we're also going to do an invitation to how you guys can dive deeper. If this is like really resonating with you right now and you're like, this is my next best step and I need help doing it, then I have a 3-month group coaching and healing program. I just did round 1. I was so incredible. I love supporting the women through 3 months on their journey and seeing their transformations and meeting weekly and all the accountability. So I'll invite you guys to that as well if that's resonating with you, to see if that's a really good fit. And I like telling you guys this at the beginning, that this is the agenda, so you're not like wondering if I'm gonna like upsell you at the end or show you guys the next step or whatever. Like, this will be your next best step if all of this stuff's really resonating with you. Again, you can take anything that I'm going to share tonight and run off with it and take the books or the recommendations or the exercises or the healing and do with it what you want right now and independently go off and do this. I did that and had to take a bunch of like puzzle pieces and books and healing sessions and videos and YouTube and workshops, and I had to like take everything that I could find and take the bits and pieces, and I made my puzzle out of it. That's how this has happened over a decade. And if you guys want to do it that way, that's beautiful. That's your journey. You'll find your own unique way of doing that as well. Like, our journeys are unique as our fingerprint. We're all so beautiful and unique on our like energetic code and who we are and our like soul's mission on this earth. So if you need to just go off and do it by yourself, that's beautiful. If you want support in doing it with a group in this sisterhood, there's also that as well. I shared the event and tagged you. Yay! I'm on my phone, so not sure if it worked. I can double check just to make sure that that worked. Yes. Woohoo! So Kelly did it. Woo! Okay, so right now, it looks like you might be the only one, unless Melanie, you want to do it too. And I've been sharing a little bit of my story with you guys as we kind of started, but I felt really broken. I felt ugly, unlovable. I would hate looking at myself in the mirror. I thought a million and two bad things about my body, because marketing in this world teaches us that we need to wear makeup and straighten our hair and know how to do this and know how to like put outfits together. And I would be made fun of for all of my attempts of that. So I just felt really like fucked up as a child, and like going to treatments and like getting the similar clothes as my mom and acting like more like an adult than a child and never really fitting in as a child. So I felt really alone. I had tons of sexual shame around the molestation and my body not working right and not feeling like I had anyone who I could talk to about that. Or if I kind of brought up the topic, like, it didn't seem like any of my friends had had similar ones. Dating assholes, all those terrible experiences on my journey. Tried, maybe I did something wrong. Or maybe it's just not showing up. Because Kelly had said that she did it like 2 minutes ago. See my notifications to get them updated. Oh yeah, you did my page. That works too. Awesome. So you guys are both entered 50-50. Yeah, I just looked in one place instead of two. Okay, thank you. So like I was saying, I worked for the past decade to kind of fit those puzzle pieces together, and I was in a conscious relationship for almost 2 years where I was finally able to share with my partner that I was molested. And I like at the time made him pinky promise that he wouldn't tell another soul on the earth. But I'm like, that's probably why I'm not getting wet. That's probably why I'm not orgasming. And I refused to fake orgasming because I'm all about authenticity and realness and didn't want to lie. And it was at times a struggle and at times beautiful opportunities of growth to like work on that, I guess, a metaphor of an iceberg, so to speak, of like melting layer by layer of layer of the trauma and the suffering and the pain and the things that I'd suppressed throughout my entire life, to work on those layer by layer to finally be able to get wet enough to not need lube, and to finally get to the point where I could squirt and I could orgasm and I could have multiple orgasms and really enjoy my body and be present in it, because I was really numbed out. I shut down and I disowned that part of my body because it was unsafe. And it was interesting because I'm like, if you touch my hand, I could tell if you're touching my finger or like my palm right now, but down there, everything was just like, it's a touch. Like I can't differentiate one side from the other. Like it was very weird for me to be that separate from my body. So I had to do a lot of physical work and reconnecting with my body and being present. And it was a slow process, but I've learned a lot of things since then that support people in quickening that process up. And I'm really grateful that I've gone through the first round of it. And I'm just like way more confident and excited to like support you ladies tonight, and then in anyone else who wants to do the second round of sisterhood, because everything keeps getting better and better. Everything gets faster and quicker and easier the more we immerse ourselves in this work and move forward on it. So I'm excited to share all the awesome things with you guys tonight, so you guys can move towards your blissful future. And now I would definitely consider myself super blissful in a bedroom. I definitely unconditionally love myself. I can look in the mirror completely naked and honestly say, I love every part of my body, including the stretch marks and the scars and the pimples and my period, and all the different pieces and parts, which I used to reject and hate and disown, are now a part of me. I don't hate one or the other of my parents like I used to. I've done the work to get to a place where I am loving with myself, and it's still a process. There's still layers of the onion. And as things come up, I continue to do that work in really loving, gentle ways with myself, because again, I believe that hurt people, and loving people love each other and the world and make the world a better place. And that's what I'm all about, is being that change I want to see in the world. And the world needs so much more love now. And it's so empowering to know that we are the change that we want to see. We are fully and completely in control and responsible for our healing and our own love and how we show up in our relationships and our career and every single aspect of everyday life. And we have the complete control to make it better for us when we choose and we decide that we want something better. I've created awesome conscious relationships. So that's when two people come together and decide that they're going to be beings of love together and support each other on their journey without being like controlling or fearful that in this loving, growth oriented, open space that you could separate. So it's loving each other parallel on your journey, so that you're each independent people. You're not like codependently or dependently doing things together. It's having that conscious relationship where it's like, I love you, you love me. We're both choosing to be in this relationship together and support each other together on a similar journey without fear that we're going to like at some point bridge off, that we're going to keep doing the work on the journey. I feel very sexually free and orgasmic, and I'm super grateful for this. And I would literally be like, I'd spend like thousands and thousands of dollars on programs and pieces and parts and techniques and stuff to try to get me here. So like, I am ridiculously, unbelievably grateful to have this done, especially since I've still heard from doing more and more of this work, like there's women in their 40s and 50s and all throughout their journeys and ages where they can't ever orgasm, or now that they have had children, they don't feel like they can, or they're not as sexually free, or they have different body issues at different stages of their life. And it's really terrible that society pushes women towards that instead of creates this open space for us to talk about it. Like, it's terrible that it's socially acceptable for men to like masturbate and jerk off, and that's totally fine, and jerking off with guys is in movies, but it's weird or wrong or gross or shameful or dirty for women to masturbate. Like, female masturbation is important. If we can't love ourselves and touch ourselves and pleasure ourselves, there's no way that your partner is going to know exactly what feels good to you, because we have to know that first and foremost for ourselves. We have to love ourselves. We have to know what feels good for ourselves before that's going to help anyone else. So this is definitely part of the work that I'm doing and feeling really called. So I'm definitely here to be the best version of myself and help others do the same, so we can all be that change that we want to see in the world. And then some people have asked, and in the past, I'm like not as good as like speaking out all the different accolades or I guess accomplishments that I have. But what is a speaker healer coach? So I'm a certified theta healer in basic, advanced, and manifesting abundance. I'm a master Reiki practitioner. I've completed Mastery University. I'm a graduate of that program. That's the Tony Robbins events. So I've done Unleash the Power Within, Life Mastery, Wealth Mastery, Date with Destiny. I've also done Robbins Madonna's training. I've done sound healing, light language. I'm an empath. I'm claircognizant. So I just get the knowings when I'm doing my healings, things just come through. And that's why sometimes my clients are like, it's like you're in my head. Why are you reading my mind? It's because I'm claircognizant. I'm also a reflector in human design. Only what percentage of the population is a reflector, which means that all of our centers are open. So it's similar to like the chakra system, only there's like manifestors, manifesting generators, projectors, reflectors. The other three types have some kind of blockage, so to speak, in one of their centers or a couple of their centers. So me as a reflector, I am a complete mirror. I have no blockages, no anything in those centers. So I'm fully open, which allows my clients and people that I work with, when they're in my energy, to see and feel what it feels like to have that as an open flowing center, and also to clear things easier, which is a real blessing for my job. It was a curse when I wasn't aware of these things. Being an empath and not knowing how to use it was definitely a curse. Now I'm using it as a blessing, and I'm a huge seeker ever since I got into my personal development journey. I've been huge into reading books. Like I read books monthly and doing all kinds of workshops and events and certifications and sound healings and anything and everything that'll support me in being a better, more clear, more loving version of myself, more connected to this oneness and more supportive for myself and the people in my life is what I'm all about. And I love growing and expanding. And theta healing, if you're not familiar with that already, deals with your subconscious mind. So if you think of that iceberg metaphor, about 5% is our conscious mind. So it's kind of like the tip of the iceberg. The other 95% is our subconscious. So in our conscious, we can desire to be happy and healthy and fulfilled and blissful and orgasmic and have financial abundance and freedom, but that's only 5%. The other 95% can be just beneath the surface. And that's essentially been formed throughout our entire lives. So between especially the ages of 0 and 7, we're little sponges and we absorb everything, which is really awesome because we learned how to speak language like English through osmosis. But it's really unfortunate because we got our parents and societies and our friends and family members limiting beliefs around scarcity or stress or sexual trauma or what is and isn't okay for women to do, and the patriarchal belief systems and a bunch of things that don't serve us, especially in this like very stressful burnout culture that we have in this world, where we're putting profits ahead of people and we're polluting the earth and we're doing lots and lots of terrible things. I could go on a huge rant around that and I'm not going to, but those are things that just get put on us, and we can clear those limiting beliefs through theta healing. So we kind of imagine our subconscious mind as this like really outdated laptop that if you wanted to put new, better software or clear off any junk, you would just download a new thing, check yes, and say yes to receive a theta healing download for our subconscious mind, and it goes through your higher power. So I'm going to use higher power in all group settings, but in your head, you can replace that with God, creator, source energy, the universe, divine being, spirit, whatever you're resonating with as your higher power. That's what you can replace it in your head as. And then I want to show you guys muscle testing because I feel like it's a super empowering tool, so that you don't have to ever go outside of yourself or to a healer or to someone else to figure out what's going on in your subconscious. You can muscle test it, and it's super easy. You can put your thumb and finger together. And it works because our muscles know if we're saying a true statement to ourselves or a false statement. And when we lie to ourselves, our muscles get a little bit weaker, which allows it to break. So our breaks are our no's. And when we stay strong, that's our yeses. And then you use your other fingers kind of like pliers. So if I hold it like this, just so that you guys can see it, you can hold it whatever way you want. This is just kind of like to have a good screen behind me. If I say my name is Laura, then I pulled and it stayed strong. So that was my yes. If I say my name is Jack, it breaks. So that's my no. So then people can muscle test like, I love myself, I hate myself, and figure out what limiting beliefs are in our subconscious. And sometimes it's like half the solution is knowing the problem really clearly. So muscle testing can be really supportive, especially if you're getting triggered in your outside world and you're like, I've been really like pissed off in the past couple days about this thing. And then there's like, okay, so maybe it's anger. And then you can muscle test, like there's anger to be healed in myself right now. And then that's like, it's a no for me right now, but that could be a yes for someone else. So you can kind of see what is being triggered in your outside world is always reflecting on what's happening in your internal world, because everything's a mirror. We have lenses, so kind of how I have glasses on right now, how sometimes people called like rose-colored glasses when you're in the beginning of a relationship and your partner can do no wrong. We have lenses for the world, and we'll see what we desire and what our limiting beliefs have shown us in the past. So it's so important for us to be aware of that and to tap into our subconscious to clear those things, because doing a little bit of clearing work can have massive amounts of transformation. And that's why I'm a theta healer. I got into theta healing when I was burning out in the corporate world, and I was a people pleaser and perfectionist and caregiver and workaholic. And I did theta healing sessions with my life coach and theta healer, and it completely changed my reality. I went from like being terrified that I'd miss a deadline or stop being like the golden girl and not do 110% on everything all the time, to like deciding to quit that and move towards my coaching and healing journey, which I thought was going to take me at least 5 to 10 years. And like, it took me like about 2 years to do this full time. And then I'm more than 2 years into my full-time coaching and healing business. So it's completely transformed my life to get to the root of these subconscious beliefs and clear it. So that's why I'm going to do some theta healing for you guys towards the end of it, and why I always do theta healing in all of my sessions and all of my group coaching. So let's get into the content of From Broken to Blissful. And again, first and foremost, loving yourself is so important. And if you want to think of it as like building a house, you'd want to build a house on concrete. You'd want to have a really solid foundation. You wouldn't want it on like swampland or sand. Like, you'd want to have a really solid foundation to build everything else. And when we love ourselves, we can have more healthy and sustainable relationships with others and our partners and our coworkers and other people and money and every other relationship. The more we love ourselves, the more everything else improves. And there's so many ways that we can love ourselves. So we can incorporate different self-care rituals into our lives. And I really encourage you guys to start there, because what we do every day can keep us in a really high vibration, or it can perpetuate downward cycles in our life. So if you find yourself that you're like really tired or feeling depressed and you really don't want to like get up and move, and you want to keep buying junk at the store instead of making meal prep or creating really delicious meals for yourself, the more you do those negative things, the more that'll cycle itself down. But the more you establish really healthy self-care rituals into your life, the more that'll support you in raising your frequency and raising your vibration to get yourself happier, to get yourself to joy or bliss or euphoria or wherever you're desiring to move, like that next baby step up from your current frequency. So I really recommend starting if you haven't done this before. I know that some people who are online or who have signed up for the replay have been clients before and have gone through like different programs and things with me. So I really recommend always starting by saying, I love you in the mirror. If you're not to that point yet, you can say, I like you, and move your way up, but it'll feel a little bit weird at the beginning to say, I love you to yourself in the mirror, but it's so powerful. And I started doing this several years ago because a doctor in a documentary recommended it. She was trying to get her patients to heal quicker and faster and better. And they did when they said, I love you to themselves. And they found that what we think and what we say, what we speak into our reality, affects our body's ability to heal. And I was like, okay, well, if a doctor's saying it, and if I'm this unhappy in my life right now, let's try it. And it literally changed my life. So I really recommend doing it for 21 days just to start to build that habit. Just look at yourself once in the mirror. If you tend to brush your teeth in the morning or put moisturizer on at night, attach it to the habit that you're already doing. Habits can be built even quicker if you attach it to something that you're already doing, because then that makes a shorter kind of like shortcut in your brain of making a new neural pathway to a good habit that you want. So attach it to something that you're already doing every single day when you're near a mirror, and whisper it to yourself, say it out loud, say it in your head if you have a partner nearby that you don't want to like sound crazy about, or encourage your partner to say that too, or your children to say it too. And just give yourself that gift of the 21 days, and it'll stop feeling weird, and you'll start realizing how important it is to look at yourself in the eyes and say I love you to yourself. And it's completely changed my life. Like I used to nitpick my hair and my skin, and I don't wear makeup. Like I wear a teeny bit of eyeliner and like clear like Burt's Bees lip gloss stuff so that it just moisturizes my lips. I used to like nitpick my skin and compare myself to like the cool like eyeshadows other people could do. Like I would spend any time that I was ever like washing my hands or looking at my reflection and being my own worst nightmare and saying all the things that the popular girls had ever said to me to myself until I started doing this practice. And now when I look at myself in any reflection, that neural pathway is so strong. It's like a highway now of I love you. I'm absolutely incredible. I deserve outstanding things. And that is a pick me up every single day, every single time that I see my reflection. That new neural pathway is there, which is a huge gift for me and I'm very grateful for. So I really recommend building that into your life if you haven't already. If you're one of my lovely ladies who's done that piece, I recommend as the next step is to say it to yourself naked or focus on one particular body part at a time and working on those areas. So if like I have stretch marks on my boobs, so like I used to have an unhealthy relationship with that. So focusing on one area and being like, I love these stretch marks. It allowed my body to grow. If I had stayed stagnant, I wouldn't have enjoyed that. And creating gratitude and shifting my mindset around those things. Everyone can do that with their stretch marks and scars and flab or any other areas that we have societal beliefs around that isn't pretty or gorgeous or radiant, that we are incredible beings of love, and that's one of my favorite things to do. I'm pretty sure in the Bliss community on Facebook, it's a free Facebook community for our soul sisters. I have a guided meditation on unconditionally loving yourself. So if you need a little bit more support in doing that, and that's really resonating with you, you can go back and do that. I did it in February, I think on Valentine's Day, if my memory is serving me right now. That's just coming up really strongly. So like if someone's live or on the replay and really needs that, I definitely recommend going to that and getting that meditation so you guys can see your truth and your beauty and your radiance as a soul. Like we're incredible souls incarnated into this reality, and we chose our bodies, we chose our life path, and all of our heart's desires were put in us for a reason. And because they were put there, the entire path to getting there was also given to us, which is an incredible gift. We just have to let go of the how and keep moving in inspired action to do that. So having these beautiful self-care rituals of getting up in the morning, drinking enough water, moving our bodies, being connected to our higher power, meditating, whatever's resonating with you, dancing. I really love dancing and deepening my feminine energy. These things can really light us up and push us towards those desires at an exponentially quicker rate because we're in alignment and in that same vibration of the things that we're desiring. So having these incredible rituals is super supportive in our life. You can also have awesome and beautiful sexual self-care practices. And this is if you're single or in a relationship. We can love our bodies and love ourselves with or without a man or without a partner or whoever you want to have. So an awesome sexual self-care practice is to like play with touch. So when you're moisturizing your face, instead of just like rushing through it and just being like, okay, take an extra couple seconds and really like notice how soft your skin is and like notice how it feels to like rub your fingertips on your body or play with your nipples or give yourself a breast massage or lightly kind of feather your fingers on your inner thighs. Like do these beautiful things to support your body and it'll exponentially support your relationships as well. But we're not doing it for like the man or partner in your life. We're doing it for ourselves first and foremost. We can also do all kinds of different masturbation techniques, and a really awesome resource for that is called OMG Yes. It has all different kinds of ways that you guys can pleasure and touch yourself. So without having a class on it, without knowing, and without feeling totally okay to talk to all of your friends and have a ton of different sexual talks, it's hard to know what different types of ways you can touch yourself. And there's so many ways. I'm like, I want to go really deep into all these things and I have to be mindful of my time because I'm always wanting to share so many things. Okay. So I'm going to leave you with that. One of the like awesome ways that you guys can do that can be playing with touch. So if you've typically only masturbated in one way, you can get different toys. You can play with like the different sensations. You can play with hot or cold. You can play with like tapping, like doing actual like tapping on your vagina and clitoris and that versus like actual rubbing, or you can do layering where you're not actually going to touch your clit and touch around your clit. It gives you a different sensation. You can do like circling where you're doing bigger circles and going in. You can do kind of teasing where you're almost going to touch it, but then you're not. And then you sometimes do and sometimes don't. That's also fun with a partner. There's so many different ways. And I would go on and on and on forever if I could about all these things, which is why I have the like 3-month program, which is why I needed it to be that long. Cause I'm like, there's a million and two things that I've learned and I want to share all my knowledge with you guys. So I'm going to quickly go through some more of these. That body positivity, image, and mindset. It's so important for us to love all the different parts and pieces of our body. Obviously, self-esteem and self-confidence comes with doing this work, which is really beautiful. And connecting with our divine feminine energy is so important, especially since the patriarchal world that we're in right now is really unhealthy for both men and women. And I was super in my masculine. I was an overachiever and type A and 110% and like got promoted and like did all the things that I thought would make me happy and successful. I was all my like masculine energy being like output, giving, doing. And that was really stressful for my body. And it's not how women are made. We're receivers physically. We have vaginas. Like we receive, men in the masculine are givers and they do and they provide, and our feminine energy can support us in incredible ways in receiving at a deeper level, and our ability to receive in all areas of our life, more unconditional love, more sexual satisfaction, more money, more everything, when we're in that inspired action, when we take time to connect with ourselves and our cycles and our pleasure, and we can just gain so much more from that, a beautiful space. And then those exercises to deepen your pleasure and orgasm. I kind of touched on those a little bit. OMG Yes is really awesome. Oming, so orgasm meditation, is also a beautiful recommendation if you want to go more into the Googling world. Slow Sex is an awesome book for that as well. All the different ways that you guys can connect to your body and deepen that love and sensation and touch. So I really recommend that. Then the next aspect is healing your past. So in the 3 months that we do, we kind of focus the first month on loving yourself. Then the second month's lessons start with healing your past. So there's different ways that you can do that through inner child work. And unfortunately, a lot of the ways that I have seen in some of the spiritual world, inner child work is really hard and it's painful. And yes, there were times that when I did inner child work, I had to cry into a pillow and scream and write my dear dad letters and do all kinds of things to like bring the stuff to the surface and clear it. But there's so many more gentle and beautiful and ease-filled ways that you can do that. And also with theta healing, you can fill yourself up with unconditional love at every single part of it. So you're not going too deep without getting that like little pick-me-up of unconditional love from your higher power. Yeah, inner child work is super powerful in connecting with the version of yourself when these things happened, so that you guys can clear and release those and move yourself forward on your journey. Forgiveness work is so important. There's Ho'oponopono prayers, which is I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. Forgiveness work is also important in creating those letters. So I had a lot of daddy issues that I had to work on, and I hadn't talked to my dad for about 4 years. So I had a lot of work to do, and writing letters and going through my story of what had happened and getting to the place where I was really grateful for it, because all of the things that had happened in my past has made me who I am today, strong and powerful and confident and successful and helping other women and making changes in the world and being a leader. And if I hadn't had all of these cumulative experiences, I wouldn't be who I am today. So I'm really grateful for all those things now after doing that forgiveness work. It's also so important to clear our old identities around that, because in our muscle testing, we can find that we identify with what's happened in our life, identifying with being a victim or identifying with the stuff that comes up after that. So unfortunately, a lot of dis-ease can happen when we suppress things for a long time. So then people can kind of identify with their cancer or with their debt or with their struggle. And it's important to clear those so that it's not a belief of your own. And you're able to clear those things. I love clearing limiting beliefs through theta healing. That's my favorite way for sure. It's also really supportive for our bodies to do the energy work around that. And again, I love Reiki and sound healing. That's what's resonated most with me, and that's what's in the program. But there's also so many other ways and so many millions of modalities out there that can support you in healing your body and your belief systems so that you can move forward. And releasing the baggage around masturbation and pleasure and sex, like I was talking about early, is imperative for us to have more orgasms and more bliss and multiple orgasms and all those things, because society has really shut down women, and it's part of the collective's energy that isn't owning that pleasure or that divinity right now. And it's our birthright. Women literally are the only creatures that have a clit. Like, men don't have a clit, they don't have anything that's just for pleasure. Women's clitorises are solely made for pleasure. There's no specific productive reason to have something 100% for pleasure. For a man, their penis can pee and ejaculate semen into women, so procreation, it's also for pleasure. But women have a clit solely for pleasure, and that's part of our like divinity and receiving and divine feminine energy. So it's important for us to recognize that, especially because a lot of religions have made it really dirty and wrong and shameful for women to have pleasure, and especially like the terrible quote sex education that we have or have lack of in North America is really unhealthy, and especially around women. It's like I could go on whole rants around that, and I've started to do more research into the history of how humans were okay being in their beauty, and you can see that in old sculptures and in European museums where the human body in its form was beautiful how it was, and then religion came in and they put all those sculptures and all those naked paintings of angels and the beauty of the woman and male form, all of those naked ones decided to be gross or bad or dirty or shameful by certain religious figures, and they put them into kind of back closets and called it pornography. So that's how pornography started. That's kind of the start of making everything about sex bad and impure and wrong and immoral, instead of the truth of it. And what I've been guided to kind of share in my work is that it's pure. Like, the creative energy of sex creates life into this world. We can use, as women, our pure sexual creative energy to create so many incredible things in this world, because it's not like we're going to create a baby every single month, and a lot of us don't want to have like several babies throughout a short period of time. So we can use this beautiful, pure, creative energy within ourselves to do incredible work in the world and to really manifest the things that are in our heart's desires and to affect the world in positive changes for so many incredible ways. So I do a lot of work on releasing that baggage, because it is a pure divine energy, and it's just unfortunate that humanity has decided to put a bunch of baggage on it. And then the last piece is loving our partner, which again is an intimate partner. If you want to put it in that lens, it could be a friend, coworker, family member. There's so many different ways that we can use these skills and tools in other areas as well. So checking in is super beneficial in any relationship, because no one can read your mind. And checking in first and foremost to yourself is super important, because we're in this busy day and age where we have phones going off all the time and our attention span has gone down dramatically. We have so much coming at us at all directions and marketed to, and there's just a lot of noise in society nowadays. So it's important for us to take time and like take some deep breaths and check in with our body to be like, how am I feeling in this moment? What does my body need? Have I like spent the last several hours doing something for someone else and I haven't even had lunch yet? Like, checking into ourselves and then giving ourselves those things is so important. And then when we're in that habit of knowing what we need and being able to ask for it, then we can communicate it to other people throughout our lives and our intimate partner to be like, right now my love tank is feeling a little bit empty. So I really recommend people read the book called The 5 Love Languages. And if you're not feeling called to reading the book, you can at least do a free online quiz. The book is 5 Love Languages, and you can figure out what your love language is. So if you're all about physical touch or words of affirmation or quality time or acts of service or gifts. It's so important that we're familiar with what ours are and what the different people in our lives are, so you can speak their love language and make sure that your partner's, especially, love tank is full. And it's unfortunately because right now we're in a society where about half of the relationships end in divorce, and a lot of couples are missing each other. So it's like, I'm doing this and they're doing that, but it's not giving the same amount of value and points. Another book is like Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, where it talks about like the point system, how a man, for example, could go to work for a week and think like, oh, I've totally earned 50 points because I went out and I worked and I'm the provider and I'm bringing home the bacon and quote unquote all those societal things. And to the woman whose most important thing is quality time or physical touch, who hasn't seen her husband because he's been super busy at the office, could be like, yeah, you have like 2 points from working, but you haven't touched me or spent quality time with me or said really loving things to me, and therefore they're not getting their needs met in the relationship. So it's so important to build open communication and understanding. And this conscious relationship takes work. You have to commit to being loving beings and being open and vulnerable and authentic and speaking your truth, even though sometimes it's uncomfortable or scary too, especially if you don't want to be rejected or you have a fear of conflict and have seen that in your reality in the past. It's important that we release and let go of those like old codependent or people pleaser tendencies, so you can be in a more loving, healthy space with yourself and your partner, and that you can create that relationship that you're both desiring together. So there's a million and two tips that I could go into for that. It's so important for us to deepen that intimacy and connection as well, and to really be grateful for the partner that we have and not take people for granted, because unfortunately the people that are closest to us or that we're just around all the time, it can be easy to take them for granted. So there's also really awesome exercises you can do with just like starting your day and saying 3 things that you're grateful for your partner or that you love about your partner, to build that intimacy and connection. A really awesome thing you guys can do as an awesome exercise to deepen that is also get in the habit of sharing what your thoughts and belief systems are. So if you haven't done it before, you can set it up as a beautiful container, being like, I really love you. I learned this cool thing in a master class, and I'd really love to like try this new thing. So for example, you could, if you're the female or the lighter partner, you can sit on top of your male partner. So if you're on like a bed or something, you can sit so that you're kind of like wrapping your legs around him. So you're really close, like face to face, looking at each other in the eyes, and you literally time. So you can time for 1 minute or 2 minutes, depending on how long you want to start with. Time just looking at each other in the eyes and deepening that like soul connection there. You can also have a timer and set the intention that you're going to share what your fears are or what your worries are, or what's been coming up in your head around I'm not good enough, or I'm not pretty enough, or I think this stuff during sex and I'm like in my head too much during sex and I want to share that with you. And your partner, for however long you decide that that time period is going to be, a minute or two, you can just have your partner say back to you, I love you, thank you for sharing. And then you say something else, and then you say something else, and your partner just says, I love you, thank you for sharing. I love you, thank you for sharing. So you have that ability to be seen and heard at a deeper level, to build that intimacy, and for them to also have that space and time to reflect that back to you. So for them to say what they're scared or nervous or worried about, because we often don't make time for that in everyday life, and no one can read our minds. No one. And our individual past experiences and how we were raised and our family values and habits and all these different things create whole different response systems to the same things happening. So in your mind, something could happen and your only response is to flip out, because that's how you and your family would have all responded and reacted. But to your partner, that could be like nothing, like something funny to chuck our lad and move on because it was nothing. And having that amount of miscommunication on a day-to-day basis with your partner is really unhealthy. So having that space to connect in, to check in, to deepen that connection, and to share your fears, your worries, or what's coming up for you, or what you want to try sexually, or what you want to like spice up in the relationship with, or what your sexual fantasies are, having that safe space container that you're just going to be heard and loved and supported, and your partner's just going to see it and reflect back that they love you as you're sharing these things, is a really beautiful expansive love experience. And then afterwards, you can talk about those things individually, and depending on how open you are right afterwards versus like taking time to digest and then going at a later time communicating that, okay, yeah, this is all digested, now we're going to talk about it. You guys can have your own rules and relationships. These are just ideas and suggestions. You guys can make it as creative and unique to you and your relationship as you guys are. It's also really beautiful after that experience, if you're feeling called and you're feeling in a really loving, safe space with each other, that you guys can cycle energy together. So being the woman, you're cycling your energy and your breath. So breathing together is incredible during sex, even if you just want to start with breathing together in sex. That's like a Tony Robbins quick fix of any relationship that's like on the brink that needed like immediate help. He'd be like, go have sex and breathe together. You sync up and you have deeper connection to your partner that way. To add a sexual piece of spirituality to that, you can again be on your partner with you and your like legs wrapped around him, being super close, and move that energy intentionally together. So you starting as the woman with the energy focusing on your vagina, moving up your back for the in breath, and then for the out breath moving down the front of you, and then cycling that. So he's doing the same thing, starting with his penis, going up his back for the in breath, going down to his front, and it's a whole complete loop. So then you both cycling that energy together feels incredible. And when you've done the work to be in tune with your body and present, you can even move that to another stage if you're feeling ready to in that moment, or on another night for another experience. Then you can have that sexually where you're having penetrative sex, not even moving, cycling that pure creative sexual energy with your breath and with that visualization. And I've had some of the most intense pleasure of my life by doing that. And it doesn't make sense to people who haven't done the healing work, but I can tell you from experience, that's one of the like awesome things, that when I'm in the hard parts of like healing where I'm like, fuck, I don't want to like do another Dear Dad louder, and I don't want to like cry about being molested again and scream into a pillow and like do this fucking work anymore. When I'm in like the hard points of that, I like remind myself that sex gets exponentially better on the other side, which is kind of like the carrot on the string that I go for when I'm in like the really hard times. And I'm like, okay, well, in the past, things have gotten exponentially better by doing all of this work. So I remind myself of that in those moments, and things have always gotten exponentially better, which I'm super grateful for. And like this year, I manifested a partner who's like the most generous, incredible lover of my life, and like multiple orgasms are the best thing. So I'm like, yes, doing this work has been exponentially beneficial for myself. I've seen it in my clients, and it's unbelievably exciting to see someone who's had sexual shame to being fully excited to like have alone time. um, some of my clients really like Outlander. I'm a really big Outlander fan too. So we've kind of made it like Outlander time to watch like sexy Jamie scenes and stuff, for like our personal pleasure time. But then it's also really beautiful and expansive for partnerships as well. So I'm going to take a couple minutes to do some beautiful healing downloads for everyone. So you guys can get grounded and centered. If you want to put your feet on the floor, take some deep breaths. We're just going to do theta healing, and all you have to do is say yes when I ask, would you like that? And I'm tapping into everyone's energy who's on the call live and who's on the recording. So all energy healing works throughout all time and space. So this present moment that you're currently watching it in is your present moment. And I'm just tapping into the energy of the group, what needs to be cleared, what the like biggest pieces are. Do you want to clear, release, and let go of all your cell trauma, frozen energy, baggage, and emotional hardships around not feeling safe, not feeling seen, not feeling heard, and not being able to receive in your life? Do you want to release and let go of all the heaviness, weight, pressure, and responsibility that's caused in your life? And if you would like that, you can say yes. Do you want to release and let go of the pain, trauma, cell trauma, and frozen energy of any and all sexual harassment, misconduct, molestation, rape, and fear around walking outside at night, fear around taking that shortcut to your car, fear around men or around being attacked? And if you would like to release any and all of that that's ready to be shifted and cleared in your body now, you can say yes. And you want to forgive any and all people who've played any roles or responsibilities in your physical pain, your emotional pain, any assholes that you've dated, any unhealthy relationships or experiences with your partner or with a parent or with a friend or family member, that you can clear that completely on all levels now. You can cut the cords, contracts, vows, commitments, bonds, and obligations and oaths to that. And we'll clear it on all levels and resolve it on a history level and show you who you are and what your life looks like in full forgiveness of them for your highest and best good, so that you're no longer drinking that poison, hoping that it's going to hurt or affect them in some way, that you're just releasing this energy completely on all levels from yourself, so that you can be free of this, you can be light again, and you can be healed from it, and that you can forgive yourself completely on all levels for any roles or responsibilities that you played in it as well, or that you blamed yourself for. And if you would like all of that, you can say yes. And do you want to know through your higher power what lessons you were trying to learn through these past pain points or hardships that have been coming up to your mind, these things that are ready to be healed, so that you can mark these lessons as complete now, and that you can move forward on your journey, choosing to learn your lessons through ease, speed, grace, joy, and love, instead of hardship, pain, suffering, heartache, or physical abuse. And if you would like that, you can say yes now. And do you want to know who you are and what your life looks like? Being excited to self-pleasure, being excited to experience more joy and bliss and euphoria in your life, and to be able to experience squirting and orgasm and multiple orgasm, and that you are open to receiving the knowledge, wisdom, support, and inspired action steps that will cultivate this energy in your body and move you in inspired action towards a life full of bliss, your own unique desires, and that you're ready for it now, that you know that this is your birthright and that you're more than worthy and deserving for all of this in your life. And if you would like that, you can say yes. And you want to know what it looks like and feels like to feel safe in your body, to be able to relax in your body, to be able to relax into pleasure, to trust yourself again, to trust your partner, and to feel excited and safe in expanding your pleasure together with your current partner or future partners, and that you know what it looks like and feels like in your body and in your day-to-day life to feel safe in speaking your truth and sharing your unique desires and needs and aspirations and feelings, and that you know that it's completely possible for you to speak your truth without feeling bad or guilty or shameful in any way. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And we can integrate all of those changes. I can also offer you a general healing for any other area that's ready to be healed in your body right now, and fill you up with your higher power's unconditional love, compassion, joy, abundance, and bliss. And if you would like that, you can say yes. And you can take some deep cleansing breaths. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And you can drink water. It's so important to be hydrated with any energy healing. And I'd love for you guys to share how that felt in your body. Like, I usually get tingles. My hands are super warm from doing that energy clearing. I feel lighter from you guys, who are everyone who I've connected with live and on the replay. So I'd love for you guys to share that. If you have any questions about the sensations that you're feeling, if you're live or on the replay and want to share, I definitely encourage that. And now I encourage you guys to think about your next steps. What is your like higher power, your like highest self, your inner being? What are you being pulled and nudged towards doing? It's so important to be clear on that, because I know as an ex-perfectionist, when I would come to like a masterclass or course or program or anything, I'd get all these new tools or tips or resources and books and be like, oh my gosh, I want to do all like the million and two things at once. And that's so unproductive, because at the end of the month, I'd have no new habits. But if you focus on one thing at a time, the thing that's like resonating with you the most right now, you can be like, okay, I'm going to take this one thing and build on it. When that becomes a habit, like when it became non-negotiable for me to like drink 3 to 4 of these a day, I was able to incorporate smoothies. I was incorporate the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. But if I had immediately tried to like do all the health things all at once and like work out and drink more water and eat healthier and meal prep and all these things, if I tried to do it all at once, it was very unsuccessful. But when I focused on one thing, it became a habit. And then I was able to move on to the next step and the next step. Then they all became habits, and I've been able to cumulatively and compoundedly completely shift my life and my lifestyle and my health and my wellness and my bliss and my reality. And I used to be like a happiness coach and healer. Now I'm like, happiness is like baseline, guys. Like, let's go for joy and euphoria and bliss and unconditional love in our lives, because we are more than worthy and deserving of having this in our everyday reality. And the world will change when there's more and more loving people in the world, acting as love and embodying love and filling their cups on a regular basis and serving from the overflow in their life. Awesome. I feel lighter, like I'm ready to work on me and making my relationship deeper. Beautiful. I love that so much. So if that relationship piece is feeling most called to you right now, then that's amazing. Like, tune into yourself and be like, is that 5 love languages quiz really resonating with me? Do I want to get that book? How is this like feeling in my body? And if you guys want to share, you can share in the comments what your next step is. Again, if you're live or on the replay. So you're like committing to yourself and the universe, like, this is what I'm focusing on. This is my one next best step where I'm like, yes, like, this is what I need. I want more bliss. I want a self-pleasure. I want a more loving relationship with my partner. I want to get a partner. I've been single for too fucking long. Like, whatever you're at on your journey, I'd love for you guys to share that. And it's not just for me. If you don't want to do it publicly for everyone else, like, write it down in your notes and be like, I am committed to this, so that the universe will rush in. When we decide, the universe matches that power. If we're just trying, like, trying energy is like way lower frequency than having the decision that you now are this person, that you are a person who's like blissful and has unconditionally loving relationships and loves themselves and loves every part of their being and feels incredible giving yourself pleasure and having and receiving multiple orgasms. And when you decide, that's a whole different frequency than just trying. And you can try for something your entire life, but committing and deciding is so supportive, and the universe will bring you all kinds of support and synchronicities and opportunities and signs that'll support you in what you just decided that you're desiring to do, which is so fun. So what I was saying, commit to your action steps now. It's so unfortunate, but I was even that person. Like a lot of people watch free classes or do freebies and they never do anything with the knowledge, but you are different. You are committed to doing something different now. So you can put either in the chat if you want to, in the replay comments, or on a piece of paper to yourself and just tell me, be like, I committed to myself, and you don't have to share what part if you want more privacy. I totally honor and respect that. I used to be like fly on the wall and everything, and now I'm like, blah, 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 sexual empowerment. So I get it. It's a journey. It definitely took me several years to get to this point in my life where I felt comfortable and confident sharing with other people, and especially in a group setting doing that. So commit to yourself. I'll give you a whole minute right now to like write it down, to decide what you're feeling really called towards doing. I used to take every course and buy every book. Overwhelmed. Yes. I totally get it. I have like a whole folder on my old laptop that I currently use as like for music and like videos on my like TV. There's a whole folder filled with like free e-courses or ebooks or um, webinars and downloads and stuff. And it's like, yep, I didn't do anything with that. Like, feel called to incorporate lemon water in mornings and honey apple cider vinegar water at night. Exactly. Yes. I love it. So yeah, your health and your vitality and your wellness, loving your body. I love that. And I honor that. And I'm holding space for you to create that in your life. I'm so excited for you. And if you haven't already joined us in the Bliss Free Soul Sisterhood on Facebook, I really encourage you to do that. It currently has like, I think 130 plus beautiful, lovely ladies in there. And I only want women in there who are intentionally going in there for more self-love and self-care and sexual empowerment, because I want it to be a really clean, high vibration space. I originally created it because talking about all of this stuff sexually was like way outside my comfort zone, and I didn't want my like brothers to see stuff, or like my dad, or like to continuously getting sexually harassed by men just by doing this work and by sharing certain things. I've gotten an increase in like definitely unwanted, creepy internet guy sexual intention, which is terrible for me, but I'm going through it and I'm shining my light and I'm doing it for you guys, lovely ladies, and just blocking them as quickly as possible. So I created Bliss to be able to share this beautiful content with you guys about divine feminine energy and empowerment and self-love and self-care, so that we had this beautiful soul sisterhood of only women to support each other. So that's completely free on Facebook. It's just called Bliss. You have to request to join and I'll add you in there. If you have a soul sister in real life or a friend or family member that you're like, oh my gosh, this would so resonate with them, you can ask them if they'd want to join. And then if they say yes, they want to join, then I invite you to invite them in. I don't want people to just like randomly add people into the group. Wrote mine in my book. Beautiful. I love that. And I'm holding space for the committed action that you're taking. And for everyone who's live or on the replay who wants to do that 3-month group coaching and healing program, I'll explain a little bit more about that now. You can find out about it at coachlauramcphee.com/from-broken-to-blissful. So I'm going to just copy that into the chat right now, so you guys have it for right after. It's also just like on my coachlauramcphee.com page, then it has From Broken to Blissful in the menu. It's pretty easy to figure out, but I'll put it in the chat just so that everyone has it. And I'll also put this in the email for the replay that everyone else will have as well. And I'll just take a couple minutes to go over the program. So the screen share is paused. I want to share another screen. So do you guys want to let me know if you can see like 3-month From Broken to Blissful? Is that on the screen? Yes, awesome. Thank you. When I did this last time, it did not cut out my other screen share, and I'm like, oh, people didn't see it. So this currently is what my website looks like. So at the top here, if you just go to like coachlauramcphee.com, the 3-month From Broken to Blissful is where we're at right now. So right now at the top of the page, it has the old masterclass that I did back in February when I was launching the first round. So I'm going to replace it with this call when it's done. So it talks about 3 months, and we're going to start the second round of the sisterhood on Tuesday, June 18th, which I'm super excited about. It's kind of like summer fun for women. I'm like really excited for the summer sisterhood and the energy of the women who are like being called into this one. I'm really excited. So again, it goes into all the different details that we talked about during this call, and I'm going to have time at the end for any questions. So if you guys have any questions around loving yourself, anything that I kind of like breezed over because I was realizing that I was going too deep into stuff, I would literally talk for hours and hours. And some of my calls, I did go really, really deep with all the lovely ladies because I wanted to get and mine and know exactly what everyone was going through, what came up around these different lessons, so that I could create this incredible program with these amazing lessons to support you guys on your journey. So there were definitely lessons that, well, not lessons. The lessons were usually around about an hour, but then the round tables, some of them went like 3 or 4 hours because I wanted to go so deep into exactly what everyone would need to continue making this program better and better and better. And I'm really excited for round 2 and all the improvements that are being made to it. So if you have any questions about loving yourself, healing your past, or loving your partner that are coming up for you now, or if you're watching the replay, definitely let me know. I'm here to support you guys in any way I can. Some of the benefits of the live 3 months together is that you get group support for 3 months with me every single week, weekly accountability calls where we celebrate your wins, all the awesome things that you guys are doing to support yourself. We talk about your challenges, any resistance you're facing, any limiting beliefs that are coming up. If you're having any issues in loving yourself or doing Dear Dad letters or doing any of this inner child healing work, or if you're having issues with your partner, or if you're single and trying to date. And we went on huge conversations around the men that people were attracting in and feeling like in some ways they were showing and reflecting them soulmate qualities and in other ways not, and that contrast and how to use that contrast and know what you're worthy and deserving of. So it was super exciting and beautiful to do that first 3 months. So I'm so excited to support you guys for another 3 months in this round 2. And you get a private Facebook community where I was literally in every single day. I had quotes every single day and just support so that you have a notification on your Facebook being like, love yourself today, or little things to support you every single day on your journey. You also have accountability to reach your goals. I have this beautiful workbook at the beginning where you can really take stock and reflect on your life and all these different areas of loving yourself, of your past and what has happened, and your partnerships, your relationships, and really get clear on where you're at right now in your life and where you're wanting to be so we can close these gaps and make sure that every single week you're moving forward and staying accountable to the most important things in your life and not making excuses or getting stuck or like going year after year and being like, oh, I had this New Year's resolution and I've never done it. I'm not into New Year's resolutions. I'm like, I set intentions and goals and I haven't played out for a year and then I move towards it. A really awesome book if you want to get into that kind of style of one goal a month is The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin. If you're like, I want a book resource for this, I definitely really encourage you to check out that one. That was amazing. So I really love giving people accountability. I have my coach mentality first and foremost, and I've added in all this healer stuff to it to support you guys for your journey. You get my objectivity in seeing your patterns and your blocks and your limiting beliefs. Again, I'm an empath and I'm extremely sensitive and I'm claircognizant, so I can easily see and feel where you're at on your journey, what vibration feels off, where you feel stuck, what limiting beliefs been holding you back. And I've gone on this journey, so I can be like, oh yeah, I was there. And when I was there, these pitfalls showed up. So like, here's what to look out for, here's what to be aware of on your journey, and here's how you can like bypass and go from here to here super quick, or instead of like up and down and crazy cycles and like go 2 steps forward and 1 step back and like that crazy pattern. To support you guys in really moving forward towards your dream happy life as quickly as possible. We'll close the gaps between where you're at and where you're wanting to be. And you have my expertise and like a decade of personal development and healing experience to support you guys in creating those healthy habits, those self-care rituals, the sexual self-care practices, all those things that will support you in loving yourself and loving your partners and the relationships in your life. And this also gives you that commitment that you're going to move your life forward very quickly, which I'm really excited about. I saw a comment come in, so I'll check that for a second. Sounds like a great program. Is it all group work or is there also one-on-one with you? So that's a really great program. Great question. I'm repeating great program again. I'm getting really excited. Can you tell that this is like my life's passion? So with the group stuff, anything that you say on the call, so like right now, for example, if Kelly like unmuted herself in the round table, you'd get to talk with me one-on-one, but everyone else in the group would hear. So that's kind of what the calls look like every single week. Everyone who's in the sisterhood comes on the roundtable calls, and then you get to talk to me about what your wins are, what challenges you're facing, how we can heal that and release those and move you forward, and then what you're deciding to be committed to and accountable for the next week, what homework you're doing, what books you're reading, that you're drinking more water, all those things. So that's most of the one-on-one piece. There's a bonus for the people who want the first two ladies who get in live for additional support. I'll explain a little bit more about that down below. And everyone who's in the program does get 1 hour of one-on-one private sessions with me to clear blocks and release things, because I feel like it's so important to also do the body work with that. So in my past one, some people did want to spend the hour and do like a Reiki session where I can infuse theta, because if a limiting belief comes up while I'm working on your body in a Reiki state, I also am like, okay, I'll just clear this through their higher power. I also love really giving people guidance that comes through at the end. So it's not a pure Reiki session. A Reiki session wouldn't have all those extras, but some people like that, so I give them that option. Other people in this last program wanted it to be like a coaching and theta healing session. Like they were like, I wanted to go deeper on here, or they didn't feel as comfortable saying certain parts out loud to the group. And anyone who is wanting the group session and wanting that sisterhood, but not necessarily wanting to share like how you were attacked or raped or molested or anything like that, you never have to share anything that you don't feel comfortable in doing. I really encourage people to reach out to me in private messages when those things come up, and especially because it is a sisterhood. If any of your sisters share anything and it triggers something in you, to always come to me first. So if someone is explaining really vulnerably and bravely to the group that they've just cleared some work around their sexual harassment or how they got drugged and raped or something like that, and that triggers you, then you come to me and we'll do work on that privately with you, so you're not saying anything or being triggered and saying anything to her in a negative way. So it's very important, and I have all these like guidelines and onboarding, which I really encourage everyone to do. A clarity call with me if this is resonating with you, to be like, this is how it would be the best fit for you, or if it's not, I'm not going to recommend it. I have a ton of other programs at a ton of different other price points, and I have a huge referral base for my Love and Light show of like other awesome healers and coaches who are doing similar types of work. So I'm all about finding the best fit for people and making sure that you're getting exactly what you need on your journey. So there is the ability to chat with me one-on-one in different ways. So maybe at the end, if I didn't explain that clearly enough, we can go a little bit deeper into that. So the results are that it really moved people towards their more joyful, blissful life way quicker. They're experiencing a lot more pleasure in their life, more orgasms, squirting orgasms with partners and stuff. So I'm really excited whenever my clients send me those messages to be like, yes, like I remember being so frustrated and like doing healing sessions, and Denise is one of my theta healers, and I was in a session with her and we cleared something like really big and it shifted, and I also had to do a lot of Reiki with her. I had like chastity belt energy and I wasn't connected with my own personal power. Like I had to do a lot of stuff, and I'm like, I'm gonna send you flowers, like you'll know that this was like really awesome and amazing when I like go home and do stuff, and you get flowers the next day. So it like lights me up to hear from like my people when they're like, oh my God, we just had so much like sexy fun time, or like I finally had like really epic Outlander time like for self-pleasure and sexual self-care. So it like is so thrilling to see that change in my clients and the people that I support on their journey. So you're able to clear your limiting beliefs that have been holding you back for your entire life. You get to that root through theta healing, and it reverberates out and it clears everything else that had happened since that, which is really beautiful. And I love it so much. Another awesome side effect of this is that you have less stress. You're not as worried or in your head or have as much overwhelm in your life. You're a lot more peaceful and centered and feel freer and more joy and bliss in your life, which is awesome. You also have a lot more time for yourself and your true passions, your ideal relationships. We get really clear on what those ideal relationships look like as well. So I had in the past group people who were single and people who were in partnerships, and you can get really clear on what you're bringing in as a soul partner, and you can get really clear on what you're co-creating with your existing partner to make your relationship even better. So I liked doing both of those in the group setting. It was super fun to have both sides of that. You also get to love yourself and have really beautiful habitual self-care habits where it's like, this is a ritual. I wake up and I drink water instead of like waking up and checking into my phone and what my boss wants me to do or not. You also have a really awesome positive mindset from doing this work, which is an awesome result. That quiets your ego, that negative voice, that you can be your best friend, you can be your own cheerleader, you can support yourself in your life because you're with yourself 365, 24/7 for the rest of your life. So it's so important to have that loving relationship with ourselves, first and foremost. This also raises your vibrations that you attract more of what you want and desire in your life. That's been incredible. The deeper I get into clearing things that don't serve me and get into my feminine energy, I'm able to manifest like crazy and be really connected with things that I want. Like, for example, my 2-year conscious relationship, I went on Tinder on a Wednesday when I was finally ready, when I had done my like ideal life partner list and I had done the work of like who I need to be for that life partner. A friend of mine was talking about how she was going on Tinder and she like was like, you have to go on Tinder. I went on Tinder on Wednesday and by Saturday I was talking to my partner who we ended up having a 2-year conscious relationship with on and off for 2 years. And it was long distance. There was things in that, which I get really clear and open about in the lessons and the roundtables and all that. Like I'm an open book, as you guys can tell from all the things that I've talked about. I'm here to use all of my experiences and lessons and knowledge and understanding to support you guys on your journey. So that was really cool. Then I was single for like, I guess 10-ish months. And then I went back out on the dating scene and was like, okay, still have things to heal before I'm ready. Then I got really clear again on what I wanted. And I went on Bumble this year in 2019 on like Saturday. And within a week, the guy that I've been with since then, yeah, so like January 2019, then until now. So we're in June now. Then we've been together. And he's like the most epic, generous, incredible lover of my life. And I thought from before it was the best sex of life, and he exceeded that. And I have friends and mentors and people that I talk to about sex, and it's like next level of like caliber of things. So I'm like very grateful for all the work that I've done and the benefits that I get by matching my vibration to the things that I've desired and the things that were my heart, that I get to have that in my life now. So obviously increased bliss is on the other side of this. And there's all different ways that you guys can get into the program. If you're feeling more of the installment methods, there's monthly installments. So securing your spot, you get whenever you're resonating with this and want to get on a clarity call with me to make sure this is the best fit. You can do installments. That's $444 and then 3 payments of that. Or if you'd prefer the pay in full method, that's $1,111, which I love the 111 energy. So paying in full saves you $221. I did, for all my US people who would sign up for this, convert it to US numbers because I know that people are always like, I have no understanding of exchange rate. So the $444, that monthly, the 3 monthly payments, on the US side is $330. So you guys get epic savings just by being in the like US dollar. Then the pay in full 1,111 is $827 for US, which is awesome. And then I have the link here if you want to just secure your spot. I also do e-transfers and Visa and MasterCard and stuff like that. So you can reach out to me privately if you want to do those things, but there's links on this page. If you have any questions at all, again, if you're live or on the replay and don't want to like ask publicly, definitely send me a private message on Facebook if you're connected with me there, or you can send me an email at laura@coachlauramcphee.com. So then this is one of the bonuses I was talking about. So if you're one of the first 2 ladies to enroll, so enrolling tonight or in the next couple days, whoever's the first fast action people, I love being a fast action person myself and getting like all the bonuses and rewards. So I love offering them to my people as well. Then you get $300 of bonus support. So that's a WhatsApp. It's similar to Facebook Messenger, only it's like a separate free app that you can put on your phone. And it's completely free texting for US and Canada and internationally, actually. So it's free texting or voice memos or calls. So that's like support that you can get using that WhatsApp free app for me to like give you quick healing downloads or tips or strategies for what's going on in your life. That was like a lifesaver for several women who did it last time, when they're like, okay, so there's this guy and he's treating me like this, or like he just sent me this and I'm kind of like downward spiraling and I don't want a downward spiral, or like wait until the next Monday call, which before we had it on Monday, now we'll have it on Tuesday. So they wanted that additional support. They had it through WhatsApp, and then I was able to listen to their voice messages of like a minute or two and then send them back some healing downloads and support, which they were really grateful for. That's still like within boundaries of working hours and not on like holidays or weekends, but it supports you guys a little bit more. And it also gives you the opportunity to share a little bit more privately around certain experiences that you've had or past traumas or abuse that you want to just deal with on a private matter. Then you can have that support there. So that's completely free for the first 2 ladies who sign up, who enroll. So whoever does that, and then I'll like announce it publicly when that's gone. But if you wanted it, I guess it's a $300 value for 3 months. So if you want it and you're not one of those first 2 ladies, you can also purchase that separately. And then the program details are here. So it's on Tuesday nights at 8:30 Atlantic, which is 7:30 Eastern. So the same time as this masterclass. So it's live on Zoom, just like we had it tonight, for 60 to 90 minutes. That'll depend on how many people are in the container with us. There's going to be no more than 10 women. That's kind of how I had it before. In our first round, we had 5 women in the sisterhood. I love that energy. So we'll have probably 5 to 10 again. And all the recordings will be available afterwards. So you'll have immediate access starting whenever you make your purchase, whenever you pay in full or do your first installment, of all 14 weeks that we did in the first round From Broken to Blissful, which will give you all of that information in detail that we went over tonight. How I was like really quickly, fast as I can, going through those main areas. It'll go deep into those lessons, those exercises, the healing downloads, the meditations, everything that I had in that first round, you'll have immediate access to, and it has like little descriptions of the lessons and what you're clicking onto. So that's more than 16 hours of immediate access to support you guys on your journey. And then every week you can listen to whatever call is resonating with you the most. They're not cumulative. It's not like playing the piano where you'd have to like know your scale and then start doing songs. There's no prerequisite for one call than another. So you can literally do it in whatever order you want. We're still going to be focusing on learning lessons of loving yourself, healing your past, and loving your partner. But whatever you're at on your journey, you guys can tap into whatever area. So if you're like, I need help with my relationship right now, then you guys can come to the round table needing that starting from the day one. If you're like single and you're like, I really need to love myself and show up like that and express love on a deeper level to myself in all areas, then we can focus on that. So it's totally unique to you. I really like having clarity calls with people. So they're completely free 30-minute calls. Say free 30-minute really quick, 5 times fast. Calls to support you guys in seeing if this is the best fit, if the group program is the best fit for you. I'm getting so excited. I need to like take a breath. Yeah. Because I loved having these conversations. Like, it's completely no obligation. I love hearing women's stories around where they're at on their journey, how even the masterclass supported them in the last call, how different stories of mine have resonated with people. It's been like mind-blowing to see how I've called in soul sisters, like people who have had similar journeys or experiences with their parents or partners or relationship with themselves. And it's just amazing to have those connection calls. So everyone who's on live or on the replay can get on a 30-minute free, it's like 30 to 60-minute clarity call to see where you're at, see where you're wanting to go on your journey, and seeing if this group program or a one-on-one program would be really supportive for you. And there's also another fast action bonus for this program as well for everyone who does it within the next week. So you'll get another private 1-hour session with me for Reiki, Theta Healing, or coaching. So that intuitively guided blend that I was talking to you guys about for your highest and best good, we'll tap into that. So with the program, you get the entire digital lessons that people went through in the first round for that first 3 months. You get the live calls for 60 to 90 minutes every single Tuesday night for that accountability and support. And then you get a private one-on-one session with me during that. And then the fast action within the next week also gets another private 1-hour session of the Reiki, Theta, sound healing, whatever coaching you need, whatever comes up. So yeah, if you need one-on-one support, you can also click right here to book a clarity call. And if you just want the digital lessons, that's awesome. And people have already just bought the lessons by themselves, which is really fun. So you can get access to the recorded lessons for that first round right now if you want it, plus a private 1-hour session with me to go deeper on any specific area of your journey. By clicking here, it's $597 for Canadian for the digital program, and it's $444 for US people. So those are all the awesome ways you guys can move forward on your journey. I'll check into the chat again. It's my bedtime now. I'll catch you again later. Beautiful. Okay. Sending you so much love. Okay. And then if anyone else has any questions, definitely let me know. Stop this share. And yeah, because the last 2 slides were any questions and then announcing the winner. So I'll put the 2 names on a little ballot sheet right now. And if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat. You can email me if you want to, if you're catching the replay. If you want to be unmuted and say any questions, you can also do that now. And I know that I went so over time, but I talked as fast as I could and shared as much as I could, which is my goal, to overgive and support you guys in any way I can on your journey. So I have the 2 names. And it's like, I can't see it. So I'm just gonna like, okay. So they're on the thing, and I'm just gonna pick. And Melanie, you won the 1-hour session. Yay! I love rewarding people who are live because I'm always the live person and fast action person. So I love giving all kinds of bonuses. Love your energy and passion. Yeah! Yay! Thank you. I love that you love my energy. Thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, I'll send you a link afterwards so you can book your private one-on-one. And everyone else, I'm sending you guys all so much love and light. And if you have any questions at all, like I've said, I am a huge open book, and I'm here to support you guys on your journey for your highest and best good. I truly believe that women are like this undeveloped resource right now, and all of us loving ourselves unconditionally and serving from an overflowing cup and being the change that we want to see in the world, how we're called to, how we were each individually called to do it in this world. We all have such unique like energetic codes and blueprints, and it's so important for us to like shine our light in whatever way that we're feeling called. If you're a light worker, beautiful. If you're showing up in your day job, more loving and caring and supportive, beautiful. If you're doing it as a single mom or a stay-at-home mom and just loving yourself and loving your children, that's beautiful and amazing. And I honor every single woman who's doing this work and who's showing up to do it, because it's not always easy, but it's so worth it on the other side. And it's even better to do it in a sisterhood and in a group and with support. And that's why I've been a huge seeker and always invested in myself and different coaches and healers and programs and master theta healers and even bigger sisterhoods and masterminds and my Tony Robbins events and programs and my certifications, because it's been so supportive and propelling me to the next level of happiness and joy and bliss on my journey. And each and every one of those puzzle pieces have helped me in such big ways, and then has reverberated out to help other people who went in similar experiences in their life or had similar pain points. And I'm so grateful that I'm on the other side of all of these different areas of my life. I'm so grateful for all my mentors who did the work first so that I could learn and grow and expand from them, for all the people who wrote the books ahead of us, and for everyone who's done this work. I'm just so grateful for everyone who's showed up live and on the replay to do this work and to show up and be that better version of themselves. So thank you guys all so much for being this awesome bright light in your world and in your reality and showing up and doing this work. So I love you guys so much, send you guys so much love, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.